The universe chose you to see this message before the shift happens, so you would understand what's already happening inside you. If you're watching this right now, in this exact moment, it's not random. The algorithm didn't bring you here. Something deeper did. You're standing at the edge of something big, something that will change everything you thought you knew about who you are and why you're here. You may have felt something strange recently, like something invisible is pulling at you. Maybe you've been waking up at weird hours, feeling like time itself is different. Maybe conversations feel empty, your daily routine feels robotic, and the life you built suddenly feels like it belongs to someone else. This isn't a breakdown, this is your system getting ready for something new. The universe chose you to see this message before the shift becomes obvious, so you would recognize what's happening as something important, not something scary. What you're about to learn will change how you see every coincidence, every ending, every pull towards something unknown. Because the shift isn't coming in the future, it's already here, and you were picked for this long before you knew it was happening. If this resonates with you so far, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. We're going deep today, and you'll want to catch the next one too. Right now, your old life is falling apart. Things that used to feel solid, relationships, your job, things you believed in, are becoming shaky. You might notice that your plans keep falling through for no clear reason, that people are drifting away without any big fight, that the future you imagine doesn't excite you anymore. This shakiness isn't failure, it's preparation. The universe is clearing out space for a version of your life that matches who you're becoming, not who you've been pretending to be. You're not losing yourself, you're remembering who you really are. Everything falling away right now is just removing a fake version of you that was never really yours to begin with. Every layer that peels off shows something more real underneath. You might feel exposed, vulnerable, like you're standing in the middle of your life without any protection. This feeling of being naked isn't weakness, it's you getting ready. While your old life falls apart, your gut feelings get stronger. You might notice that your instincts are getting louder, more demanding. A voice inside you says leave before your brain can explain why. A pull toward a person, a place, a choice shows up before logic can make sense of it. This isn't you being impulsive. This is your future self reaching back through time, showing you the way to where you need to go. The universe chose you to see this message before your gut feelings become impossible to ignore, so you would trust them as directions, not just random thoughts. Two versions of you exist at the same time right now. One version is stuck in the old life that's falling apart, holding on to what's familiar, fighting against the pull. The other version is already lined up with what's coming next, pulled toward the shift like a magnet. You feel the tension between these two versions, the tiredness of being split between two different frequencies, the confusion of knowing something is ending without seeing what's starting. This in-between phase won't last forever, but it has to happen, because the shift can't complete until you stop fighting the pull and start letting it guide you. I want you to make a declaration to the universe. Type in the comments, I control my thoughts. As things fall apart faster, the pull gets stronger. Relationships, jobs, habits that don't match your new energy are disappearing quicker now. What used to take months to end is now ending in weeks, sometimes just days. The universe isn't punishing you, it's clearing the road ahead. Every ending is your energy adjusting, making room for new things that match who you're becoming, not who you used to be. Your future self isn't guiding you from far away, it's pulling you forward from inside your body. You might feel it in your chest, in your stomach, like a magnet pulling you towards something you can't name yet. It's not anxiety, it's not fear, it's recognition. The version of you that already exists in the right timeline is calling you home, and the closer you get to the meeting point, the stronger that pull becomes. The universe chose you to see this message before the pull becomes impossible to ignore, so you would stop thinking it's just restlessness and start seeing it as a map. Because this pull isn't random, it's smart. It knows where you're going, even when your mind doesn't have a clue. It skips over logic, skips over doubt, skips over every excuse you've used to play small, and it won't stop until you follow it. You're not being kicked out of your old life. You're being pulled into your real one. The discomfort you feel isn't the universe blocking you, It's you blocking yourself. The part of you that's still grabbing onto the familiar, the safe, the known. But that grip is getting weaker. Every coincidence, every gut feeling, every weird urge you can't explain is loosening your attachment to what was and strengthening your connection to what is. Think about it like this. Imagine you're holding onto a rope attached to a boat that's sinking. The pull you feel is someone on solid ground reaching out their hand. Your future self is that hand. And every day you hold on to the sinking boat, the pull gets more uncomfortable. Not because the hand is hurting you, but because you're trying to hold both at the same time. Eventually you'll have to let go of the rope, and when you do, you'll realize the hand was there the whole time, waiting to pull you to safety. The universe chose you before the shift, so you would trust the pull when it arrives. So you would stop seeing it as something to fear and start seeing it as something to follow. Because where it's taking you is exactly where you need to be. If you're feeling this pull in your chest right now, type "I feel it" in the comments. Let's see how many of us are going through this together. Once the pull gets stronger, old emotions start coming up. Anger you thought you dealt with years ago. Sadness you thought you moved past. Fear you thought you outgrew. These feelings aren't coming back to hurt you. They're coming up to leave your body for good. Every emotion rising now is on its way out of your system. The universe is cleaning out what doesn't belong anymore, so the shift can finish without any emotional baggage getting in the way. You're not going backward, you're cleaning house. The tears, the frustration, the waves of sadness that hit you out of nowhere. These aren't signs that you're failing, they're signs that you're clearing out old energy. Every release makes space. Every breakdown is actually a breakthrough wearing a disguise. The universe chose you to see this message before the emotional wave hits its peak, so you would let it move through you instead of pushing it down, hiding it, or thinking something's wrong with you. Here's what most people don't understand. Emotions aren't the problem. Holding on to them is. When you try to suppress what's coming up, you're basically telling the universe, "I'm not ready yet." But when you let yourself feel it, cry it out, scream into a pillow if you need to, you're saying, "I'm ready to let this go." And the universe responds to that. It speeds up the clearing process. It moves you closer to the shift. As the emotional wave passes, something unexpected happens. A deep calm settles in. It shows up quietly, so quietly you might not notice it at first. One day you realize you're not reacting the way you used to. Things that used to set you off now just roll off your back. Drama that used to consume your whole day now feels distant, like it's happening to someone else. This calm isn't you shutting down, it's you stabilizing at a higher level. The calm is sacred. It's the universe's way of getting you ready for what comes next. Because the shift can't happen in chaos. It happens in the quiet, in the emptiness, in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. This is where the timeline meeting point begins. Not in action but in alignment. Not in doing but in being. Once the emotional cleaning is done, the universe starts sending you signs, small ones at first. A phrase that keeps repeating in 3 different conversations. A symbol that shows up in random places. Numbers that follow you everywhere, on clocks, receipts, license plates. These aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. The universe is talking directly to you, showing you that you're on the right path, that the shift is happening exactly the way it should. Pause for a second and think, what signs have you been seeing lately? Drop them in the comments. Sometimes we need to see that others are getting the same messages. As the calm deepens, the signs get louder. Repeated numbers become constant. 1111, 333, 555. Timestamps that feel like messages meant just for you. Phrases echo across conversations with strangers, friends, videos you watch. Symbols appear with a meaning you can't explain but deeply feel in your gut. These aren't random, they're breadcrumbs. The universe is guiding you toward the meeting point, one sign at a time. Your outside world starts falling apart even faster now. People fade away without any drama. Opportunities you were counting on dissolve without explanation. Plans you were certain about fall through at the last second. This isn't loss, this is redirection. The universe is removing everything that doesn't match your new energy, so the shift can happen without interference. Every ending is making room for a beginning you can't see yet, but are being prepared to receive. You're not being abandoned, you're being refined. The loneliness you feel isn't isolation, it's recalibration. The universe chose you to see this message before the outside falling apart finishes, so you would trust the process instead of holding on to what's leaving. Because what's leaving was never meant to cross the finish line with you. As old connections fade, new ones appear. You're drawn to people, ideas, interests that mirror who you're becoming. Conversations feel different, deeper, more real, like you're speaking a language you didn't know you knew. These connections aren't accidents, they're energy matches. The universe is introducing you to the frequency you're aligning with, one person at a time. Time feels weird now. Hours stretch out. Days blur together. Weeks collapse into what feels like minutes. You sense something big approaching. Something you can't name but deeply recognize. This isn't anxiety. This is anticipation. Your body knows the timeline snap is close. The meeting point is almost here. And every sign, every ending, every new connection is speeding you toward it. The universe chose you to see this message before the timeline snap, so you would recognize it when it happens. Because the shift won't announce itself with fireworks. It will arrive as a quiet knowing, a moment where everything clicks into place, where the path becomes crystal clear, where the pull you've been feeling finally shows you where it's been taking you all along. Let me tell you what the timeline snap feels like. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's a moment of absolute clarity, where you suddenly understand why everything had to fall apart the way it did, why certain people had to leave, why certain doors had to close. You see the pattern, you see the design, and you realize none of it was random. It was all leading here. If you've experienced a moment like this before, where everything suddenly made sense, share it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. Once the signs peak, something shifts inside you. The emotional ups and downs settle. The restlessness quiets down. You enter a phase that feels different from anything you've experienced before. A calm control over your inner world. Old triggers disappear. Patterns that used to control you lose their power. Your reactions are changing. This isn't you becoming numb. This is you evolving. You're not shutting down. You're stabilizing at the frequency of your future self. You're not slowing down. You're aligning. The stillness you feel isn't you getting stuck. It's the final adjustment before the shift completes. The universe is fine-tuning your energy, making sure that when the timeline snap happens, you're ready to receive what's waiting on the other side. You're not slowing down. You're aligning. The stillness you feel isn't you getting stuck. It's the final adjustment before the shift completes. The universe is fine-tuning your energy, making sure that when the timeline snap happens, you're ready to receive what's waiting on the other side. As this stabilization deepens, your physical reality starts shifting. Conversations open doors you didn't know existed. Random encounters feel meaningful, charged with importance. Clarity leads to decisions. Decisions lead to action. Action leads to momentum. The outside world starts reflecting the inner alignment you've been building. This isn't luck. This is resonance. You're no longer forcing things to happen. You're allowing them to unfold. A meeting leads to an idea. The idea leads to a direction. The direction leads to an opening. The opening leads to an opportunity. The opportunity leads to a choice. The choice leads to a timeline. And suddenly, you realize the life unfolding in front of you is the one you always felt was waiting. Not the one you planned with your mind. Not the one you forced with your willpower. The one that was always meant for you. Deep down, this isn't a surprise. It's recognition. You're not discovering something new. You're remembering something true. The universe chose you before the shift, so you would be ready when it arrived. And now, here you are, standing in the life your future self has been pulling you toward all along. Before we go deeper, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. This channel is all about helping you understand these shifts and navigate them with clarity. Let me be clear about what the shift actually looks like when it happens. It's not going to be some mystical experience where the sky opens up and angels sing. It's much more practical than that. The shift shows up in your daily life as a series of aligned moments that build on each other. You'll have a conversation with someone that leads to an introduction. That introduction leads to an opportunity you never saw coming. That opportunity requires a decision. And when you make that decision, doors start opening in ways that feel almost too easy. That's the shift in action. That's what timeline alignment looks like in the real world. You'll notice that the right people start showing up at the right time. Not because you're manifesting them or doing some ritual, but because your frequency changed, and now you're attracting matches to that new frequency. The person who ghosts you isn't rejecting you. They're mismatched. The person who reaches out unexpectedly isn't random. They're aligned. You'll find that decisions become easier. Not because life gets simpler, but because your internal compass gets clearer. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop asking everyone else for their opinion. You just know. And when you act on that knowing, things flow. Obstacles that used to stop you for months dissolve in days. Resistance that used to exhaust you disappears. The shift also shows up in how you feel about your past. Things that used to hurt when you thought about them lose their charge. People who betrayed you become teachers. Failures become redirections. Every painful moment becomes a necessary step that brought you here. You don't forget what happened. You just stop being controlled by it. Your relationship with time changes too. You stop living in the past, replaying old conversations and wondering what you could have done differently. You stop living in the future, anxious about what might go wrong. You land in the present moment, and from that place you make choices that actually move your life forward instead of keeping you stuck in loops. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one decision you've been avoiding that you know you need to make? Sometimes just typing it out helps you see it clearly. Now let's talk about why you were chosen for this shift. Because it wasn't random. The universe doesn't select people by accident. You were chosen because you have something inside you that's needed for what's coming next. Not just for your own life, but for the people around you. You were chosen because you've been through things that broke you open. Pain has a way of cracking us wide enough to let new light in. The struggles you've faced, the losses you've endured, the times you thought you wouldn't make it through. Those weren't punishments. They were preparation. They built capacity in you. They created space for something bigger to move through you. You were chosen because you question things. You don't just accept what you're told. You dig deeper. You ask why. You sense when something doesn't add up. That quality, that refusal to just go along with the program, is exactly what's needed now. Because the shift requires people who can think for themselves, who can trust their own inner guidance over external authority. You were chosen because you feel things deeply. In a world that tells you to numb out, to stay busy, to distract yourself from discomfort, you actually let yourself feel. That sensitivity isn't weakness, it's a superpower. It means you can sense shifts in energy before they become obvious. You can read situations and people at a level most people miss. You can navigate by feeling, not just by thinking. You were chosen because you're willing to walk alone when necessary. The shift requires you to step away from crowds, from groupthink, from doing what everyone else is doing just because it feels safe. You've already proven you can do that. Every time you chose the harder path because it felt true, you were training for this moment. You were chosen because your future self already exists in the aligned timeline. And that version of you is powerful. That version has clarity, purpose, direction. That version knows exactly who they are and what they're here to do. And that version is reaching back through time right now, pulling you forward, collapsing the distance between where you are and where you're meant to be. The universe doesn't make mistakes. If you're here, watching this, feeling this pull, recognizing these signs, you were meant to be part of this shift. Not as a passive observer, but as an active participant. Your role matters. Your choices matter. Your alignment matters. If you feel in your gut that you were chosen for something bigger, type "I was chosen" in the comments. Let's activate this together. So what do you actually do now? How do you work with this shift instead of resisting it? Let me give you practical steps you can take starting today. First, stop fighting what's falling apart. I know it's scary. I know it feels like loss, but every time you try to hold on to something that's leaving, you're blocking what's trying to arrive. Let people go. Let opportunities pass. Let plans dissolve. Trust that what's meant for you won't miss you, and what's leaving wasn't yours to keep. Second, follow the pull even when it doesn't make logical sense. Your gut is smarter than your brain right now. If you feel drawn to reach out to someone, do it. If you feel pulled to explore a new interest, follow it. If you feel called to make a change, take the first step. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for proof. The proof comes after you move, not before. Third, pay attention to the signs. Write them down. Track the patterns. When you see repeated numbers, notice what you were thinking about in that moment. When you hear the same phrase multiple times, ask yourself what message it's carrying. When synchronicities happen, acknowledge them. The more you pay attention, the more the universe will communicate with you. Fourth, create space for stillness. The shift can't complete if you're constantly busy, constantly distracted, constantly numbing yourself with noise. Sit in silence for even just 5 minutes a day. Let your mind settle. Let your body relax. In that stillness, you'll hear the guidance that's been trying to reach you. Fifth, trust the timeline. Stop forcing outcomes. Stop trying to control how and when things happen. Your job isn't to make the shift happen. Your job is to align with it. The universe is handling the details. Your future self is orchestrating the meetings, the opportunities, the perfect timing. All you have to do is stay open and say yes when the moment arrives. Sixth, find others who are going through this too. You're not alone in this shift. There are people all over the world feeling the same pull, seeing the same signs, experiencing the same timeline collapse. Connect with them. Share your experiences. Support each other. When you realize you're not crazy, that others are feeling it too, it becomes easier to trust what's happening. What's one action you're going to take today based on what you've learned? Comment below and commit to it publicly. That makes it real. Here's the final truth I need you to understand. The shift isn't something happening to you. It's something happening through you. You're not a victim of this process. You're a participant. Every choice you make either speeds it up or slows it down. Every time you trust the pull, you move closer. Every time you resist it, you create friction. The version of you that exists in the aligned timeline isn't waiting for you to arrive. It's actively pulling you there. Think about it like this. Imagine your future self has a rope tied around your waist, and they're pulling you toward them. The pull you feel in your chest, in your gut, that's the rope. And every day they're pulling a little harder, collapsing the distance a little more. But here's what most people don't realize. You can pull back. You can meet your future self halfway. You don't have to wait passively for the shift to complete. You can actively participate in your own evolution. How? By making aligned choices. By following your gut. By letting go of what's leaving. By saying yes to what's arriving. By trusting the signs. By believing you were chosen for this. The timeline snap, that moment where everything clicks into place, happens when you stop resisting and start surrendering. When you stop trying to control the process and start trusting it. When you stop looking back at what you lost and start looking forward at what you're gaining. That's when the two timelines merge. That's when your current reality catches up to your future reality. That's when the shift completes. And when it does, you'll look back at this moment and understand why everything had to happen exactly the way it did. Why certain people had to leave. Why certain doors had to close. Why you had to go through the pain, the confusion, the uncertainty. You'll see the design. You'll see the intelligence behind it. And you'll realize the universe knew what it was doing all along. The shift is happening right now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Every breath you take is either in alignment with your future self or in resistance to it. Every thought you think is either pulling you forward or holding you back. Every choice you make is either opening the door wider or closing it a little more. You were chosen for this shift before you even knew it was happening. The universe saw something in you, a capacity, a readiness, a frequency that made you the right person for this moment. And now it's your turn to see it too. To recognize your own power, to trust your own path, to follow the pull that's been guiding you all along. If you feel the truth of this message in your bones, go to the comments right now and write, "I was chosen before the shift and I recognize the pull within me now." This isn't just a comment, it's a declaration. It's you telling the universe you're ready, that you trust the pull, that you surrender to the shift. The universe chose you, not randomly, not accidentally, intentionally. And everything that's been falling apart, every sign you've been seeing, every pull you've been feeling, every moment of stillness, it was all leading here, to this recognition, to this activation, to this timeline. Welcome home.